Good evening. Thanks for your patience, everyone. We're a little bit behind, but that's okay. So welcome to the Candidates Forum this evening. I'm just going to go through the conduct of the forum tonight, okay? And if you don't know, my name's Stephanie Connors, and I'm the electoral officer for the Norway House Cree Nation election this year. So just a couple of reminders. We are live, and we are live streamed on the Norway House Cree Nation YouTube channel, radio, and TV. So to attend the forum, you have to have proof of vaccination, okay? There's no exceptions in order for us to have the forum here today. So I'll just go through the conduct of the public forum. So the chief candidates will go first in alphabetical order of last name. Then the councillor candidates will proceed with the same process. Chief candidates will have 10 minutes to address the forum, and there will be a 2-minute warning and 30-second warning for your time. And Amber here is going to help me with that, so she'll just kind of come to the side of you and show your warnings, okay? So just make note of that. Councillor candidates will have 5 minutes to address the forum, and there will be a 1-minute warning and a 30-second warning. If a candidate isn't present when we go down the list, we'll proceed with the next candidate in order, and then we will come back to the candidate afterwards at the end if they are here. There will be no question period. Only electors 18 years of age are allowed to attend the forum. So we've been signing in here, taking treaty numbers and proof of vaccination at the front here. Just a reminder to all candidates, let's keep the forum clean and respectful to other candidates. So I will keep the candidate forum in order at all times, and may cease any speech if it is anyway out of line, okay? So let's just please be respectful to everyone. That's all I ask. So I'm also going to, there's 2 chairs to the side here, so I'm gonna just, once the first candidate is up to speak, if the next 2 can just be ready at the side here, and so on, we'll keep it going. So I'll announce, after the candidate has done their speech, I'll announce the next person and so on, so everybody should know who they're after, kind of thing. So it's 5:22, so we are live, and we are going to start the Norway House Cree Nation 2022 election candidates forum. And the first candidate for running for chief is Larson Anderson. So again, as soon as you start speaking, that's when we will start the timer. And before I open the forum, if there's an elder, can open the meeting with a prayer. No one? Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. Lord Heavenly Father, we thank you. We give you glory and honor for your Son Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. Lord, I ask blessings in this gathering. Bless each and every one that are here, that their words will be wise and they'll be honest. Lord, we give you glory and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. And everybody said, amen.
I forgot to mention I am going to sanitize after each speaker as well, okay?
Whenever I start? Nancy, nas komandanas. Hagisagag, kitome tagos na huta. Ano sulnat, ano suntananwa, when I get tiniganis ko manis konegando. Tamani na nas komanis tagisemantu, yotsa semester Jesus Christ. Hagipe mohtaigwa huta, or house Cree Nation. Sige magipe animan, umagagipe huswanagipe nagiskama. Pandemic is na hatig, magagamit sa nasagatagi mohtano. I want to thank my family, my wife, my children, my siblings and nephews and nieces, and the many friends that I've grown to have throughout these past 4 years. Thank you for all your support. So I really tried to write what I felt and what I wanted to say, and it's been really, really both very difficult times during this 4 years, but then there's also been very exciting times. So with what we found when we got elected in April or March 2018 into April, it was a quite devastating information that April 1st we lost $15 million of cash flow directly from our annual funding. And then we ended up losing the Royal Bank, closed their doors, BMO closed their doors, Northwest Company, as well as Hydro with their hydro bills. So to try and move forward during those early days was very difficult. It was hard. It took lots of hours and a lot of sacrifices. And we just tried and kept trying and to survive. And I think we did a decent job. Obviously, things could have done better, but things could also have gone worse. We were under co-management from ISK, and so we tried to work with them as well as the bank. So RBC basically just said no to everything that we asked them. BMO ended up asking or requiring a new application, so we did a consolidation loan with them. So once that process started, we assumed 6 months, 12 months, onto 18 months it took to get that commitment from BMO, and became the largest bank loan ever to a First Nation by BMO. And it saved the Cree Nation about $1 million of cash flow per year, and it still does. As far as housing was concerned, when we got in, there was about 350 applicants, and within the first month that grew to almost 700. Many people felt that there was hope, that there was going to be leadership that's going to concentrate and do the work that's required to build housing and create jobs. Even in our initial meetings we had with this, there was discussions about a health center. And I recall those discussions back in the mid-90s when they first started talking about a hospital. But unfortunately, at least back then, the deal that was on the table was not worth doing for Norway House. So we did have a community public meeting that the question came up. Pam Smith, her position is he's lead or the head of NIB, and she was asked at that meeting, does this health center mean that Norway House will take over all healthcare programs under the hospital? But the answer she gave was no, it does not mean that. They are still at the table and will continue to be until the community decides. But they did fund a center that was $100 million. So we had the project director working, councillor in charge, our portfolio holder, and the project started moving. Within a little over a year, I became worried that I didn't see finances coming out of the reports that the director was providing. I wrote him a letter and asked him about how the project is going, how is this professional accommodations being funded, and his answer to me was it was within the 100 million. So as long as it was within that, there was no worries. But by January 2021, that story changed. In a discussion we had with Minister Miller, that project all of a sudden grew to 125 million, which put our nation in jeopardy to try to finish this construction. So with the advice of ISC, they suggested a third-party review gets done, which was done. The third-party review found that we were over by $47 million on this health center. So from there on, I tried and tried and tried to change the team, to very little success. But at that point in time as well, I started getting involved, looking for additional revenue. So the Deputy Minister's Office helped us find additional revenue. And so far we've found $16 million. So that gets us to the end of July, and they are committed to helping the rest of the way. The only problem from that was we were supposed to be building a new high school. So with that kind of a commitment for the health center, it's very difficult to get commitment for a new high school in a neighborhood of about $58 million. So those how it was in the beginning. It was tough, you know. When I, along with some of the councillors, didn't work together very well. We tried and tried, and in most cases we were okay, but there were times that we were not. But I vowed in the last election that I didn't want to see what I saw growing up. Chief and council at each other's heads, at each other's throats, fighting, putting each other down. But that hurts the youth. That hurts the elders. So I didn't want to go that route, and I tried my best, and I compromised, and I accepted things that I probably wouldn't have if it was another way around. And that one thing is giving up on hydro and what hydro has done to our nation and our territory. You know, I've never been and will not a big fan of cleaning hydro's mess. What I suggested is let's go to the table, let's start a new agreement and go for a compensation. Not for us, but for the fishermen and the trappers that get impacted on a daily basis on the damage hydro has done. But there was a BCR that I couldn't get through, so those discussions kept delaying. We did get legal opinions that said the more you clean up, the less compensation you'll get, because you're cleaning their mess and you knew about it. Wow, okay. So, as you can see, there's a lot to say, but I will wrap it up, 2 minutes. That, to be honest, this job is a very difficult job. Norway House is a huge community. Norway House has a lot of diverse thoughts and choices and things they want to see. But we need a leadership that'll listen, that'll sit with you, that'll stand with you, that'll protect you. And that's what I promise you'll have under my leadership. Don't accuse me of no meetings or no public meetings, because there was this thing called COVID. It really limited our ability to speak to First Nations and to even to the band members. But if you go back to the first 2 years of my office, there were meetings. And once COVID is out of the way, there will continue to be meetings. I worked with everybody that ran against me. I worked with Tyler Duncan, Fred Muskago. I also were in talks with Ronald Evans, because we were trying to use our best people to work and move forward. That I assure you, no matter how much I get attacked or how much I'm being put down, I'm fine with that. I've been going through it for 3.5 years after I helped give 5 houses to a family that quite frankly deserved them, because that young boy should have always been number one and treated much more respectfully. So, nas commit laga, you know, it's asin, miniego magi-storm 4 years. Kaya tamat no, nos asasun niya gawat tabo, tagyabat sa hit, aga kino, kaganomit no, kino po kaya tamat no, gantige tamu no, gantige itaswa. So after election, I do commit to having a public meeting in April 18 was the 4 years ago, so whatever the day of the week that lands,
I'm
I
sorry,
do
your time
commit to
is up.
having that public meeting. Thank you.
you.
God bless you.
So the next candidate we have is Ronald Evans, chief candidate. And I'm just going to have Amber sit by the camera here. So just she'll let you know when your 2 minutes is coming and then when your 30 seconds instead of us coming up beside you. Okay, so just make sure you're looking at Amber when you're speaking. Well, just for the time. Yes, you can. Yeah. Just give me a minute to get my timer here, please. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. I was jättämiskäät no, kandosta me utta at this auditorium through live stream, I guess, all the elders and all the young people, everyone out there. I want to thank Leslie Apatagan who nominated me and Leroy Mina who seconded the nomination that allows me to actually stand here at this time. I just want to say thank you to them, just acknowledge them, and of course my family for always supporting me, my wife always supporting my endeavors, and my family. 1980, this time that was the first time I ran, and I remember back then there was no such thing as signs. There was no signs, there was no speeches, there was no people. People just knew who the people were. That we all knew each other in this community, and the people had an idea who they were going to support as their leadership. And then somehow we got assimilated as we grew. Then we got into these signs and speeches, and we got all our signs. Somehow that shifted into that the reason people do that is because they don't know each other. So if nobody knows you, that's what you do, right? In mainstream politics, because they don't know you. But we're a small community that we actually know each other, that we shouldn't actually have to do that. However, having said that, I want to touch on some of the issues that have been brought to my attention during the campaign. I want to thank those that have taken my signs to date and those that have encouraged me. And that's what gives me the strength and confidence to be here. I know that one of the things that we all seek as individuals is the pursuit of happiness and to have health and our safety. Those are the most important things that matter to us as individuals. And so in order for that to happen, we have to be happy. We have to be in a place, in an environment that allows for that to happen. And that means in a home. When I hear even my campaign speech, the one that we did for the videos, we talk about the things that we're going to build, the things that we think matter. If you don't have a nice, healthy home right now, those things don't matter. But if you're doing well and you're in a happy place, you got a good job, good money, yeah, those it's nice to have all those other things being built so that you can so that we can enjoy them. But what matters most is the health and the happiness of the people. And you can't be happy if your home is cold and it's overcrowded. It's pretty hard to be happy. And it's pretty hard to be happy when you're not, the kind of health care is not being provided for, like home care. Home care when you need home care. So those are issues that have been brought to my attention, as well as whether it's 333 Maryland, those are issues that have to be addressed, and it shouldn't have to wait. And that's what leadership does. They advocate. Leadership advocates for the dollars to make those things happen. It don't just happen. You don't wait for somebody to come and do those for you. We have to do that for our people. And that's what I commit to doing, is making sure that those things happen. And even here, our community, this building is it's over 25 years old, and we're stuffing everybody in here. Anytime there's a program and a service comes along, we try to stuff people in here. the band constable program, the radio station, like some of these programs should have their own, programs and service should have their own building by now, just to be able to work in an environment that's healthy, that allows, that makes you be, that makes it a pleasure to go to work and diat tuski and tagisiga, you know, tamahitawak. And so that you have your own place and so forth. So those things are needed. I commit to at least looking after the immediate stuff that need to be restored and renovated. And then, of course, while you're doing the big stuff, the new stuff that we talk about. Because if we don't address the stuff that need repairs, it's like walking around with your shoelaces untied. Eventually you trip over it. And so right now, that's why it's important that we don't lose focus on the people themselves that need our help, that look for leadership to lobby and speak on their behalf. So I commit to doing that. I commit to provide that kind of leadership that I've always provided for, that's made the changes in our community over all these years. Now, you may deny that, but you can see the changes. We're sitting in this building. Those of you that are running, that were part of this building, you remember the challenges that we went through just to build this. It was not easy. There was no money to build this, but we made the bold move to build it. You remember the time when we said, let's build a pavilion. It was a scary time, right? Yet it was just a small project. We were afraid of all the elders and what the people would say. Finally, we are bold enough to make a decision to build this multiplex that we're still using. That was deemed a white elephant at one point, but we're still here and we're still using it. And so for the people in Winnipeg, our people many of our people live in Winnipeg. Our students, some of the elders, are people that need health care. We need to create a position down there just to look after, not just a position, perhaps some positions, because the needs are many. And that's what I commit to doing, making sure that we are able to listen to our people, what they need. The last 4 years has given me time to reflect, to look at things from the side that I was not able to do in the previous years because of the bread and butter issues that we've had to deal with all those times. You talk about building homes. Well, you couldn't build homes when there was no money. We had to do the things that we did to actually get the money, and some of you remember how tough it was when I came back the last time when there was no money. But we were able to work through that. And so I just want to be able to say at this time I look forward to the outcome of the election, and hopefully that we can all work together and just be happy as a community, at least support the leadership that's going to be elected, and let's not try and criticize and badmouth and just allow the people to do what they say they're going to do. That's what I did the last 4 years. Not once did I criticize any of you for anything, and I'm not standing here to criticize anybody now. I just want to be able to say that let's just work together in the next 4 years and utilize each other's skills, the skills and the connections that we have built over the years, utilizing our experience. That's all I ask. Gusani and ask now, and I know that Darlene doesn't get to talk. She's a chief candidate, so it's unfortunate because I wanted to hear what she had to say too. With that, thank you for listening, and may God bless all of us in our community. Gusani, naskumit na.
No, he didn't use up all his time, so it wasn't quite.
Oh, Henry first? Oh, sorry, Henry. Oh, okay.
If Henry Moore is here, he's the next chief candidate. Brett, you can just have a seat right there, and you're next, yeah.
Thanks, everybody. My name is Henry Moore. I'm running for chief. I would like to thank Donald Dickson for nominating me and Lorraine Monroe for seconding the motion. I am very humble to accept this nomination. I do not take this responsibility lightly. I would like to thank them for trusting and believing in me. I am very honest, trustworthy, demonstrate integrity, loyal, treat every people with respect. I'm fair, kind, and caring, pursue excellence, and hardworking. It's by faith that has helped me through all these years. This year will mark 35 years of dedicated service to Norway Cree Nation. Started my employment as a welfare clerk 31 years ago, found myself working for welfare once again as an income assistant manager. Nothing really has changed except the program is administered under the provincial policy and provincial rates. As Norway House moves forward, let's be considerate of our future generations. Think about our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, to have a better life. At this time, not too long ago, Norway House Cree Nation had at one time the biggest asset known as the Northern Flood Agreement, worth billions of dollars. Our Northern Flood Agreement, our billion-dollar agreement, our modern day agreement. Just imagine what we could have done with all that money. But unfortunately, it was sold. And most of you are aware, Norway House has a 10-year agreement. In this agreement, there are endless opportunities. This agreement has flexibility to allocate, manage, and use this funding to better accommodate needs, changing circumstances, and priorities. It gives the Chief and Council the flexibility to design and deliver services. Norway House Cree Nation Social Division can design a better service to people by creating its own policy, welfare policy, and its own rates. The Cree Nation has its welfare clients through the use of training strategy and make work projects work, WOB. This is where we can advocate for increase and removal of the special needs capped amounts. In the agreement, Norway House will have the ability to retain, to keep the unspent funds. The agreement will also reduce the administration and reporting burden. Only requires the Chief and Council to report to the membership to how the money was spent. I see and I hear you, people. Here are some of the things I would. Housing, repairs, complete unfinished houses, flooded crawl spaces, mold, fix them up, overcrowded. You know, when we did home visits, there were mattresses piled in one room, people sleeping in kitchens and living rooms. There's homeless people, disabled. We have to build homes for men or build homeless shelters. Support single moms programs, initiatives, and detox center. Elders. Respect and advocate for elders. Provide relief programs so that they can continue to enjoy their retirement and live their lives and without any extra cost, because most of them are on a fixed income. Due to inflation, cost of living is high. Assist them with hydro bills, hydro payments, provide them with special needs. Guarantees that are achieved if elected on March 7th. Staff members' salaries and wages, 7.2% increase, and another one in next fiscal year of 1.8. The welfare clients I will be looking into if welfare owes you money, and this an additional 900 if so will get it as soon as I get it as a chief. To elders, I'm looking into the COVID funding. If Norway House cremation, you'll be entitled to 300 if there's a surplus. Old age pensioners on fixed income. Welfare clients will issue checks instead of vouchers. Give you manual checks which you can deposit by taking a picture of it. Email transfer of your funds or do direct deposits to avoid lineups and do away with outrageous charges, service charges. Disability forms, fill them out every 5 years instead of every year. Because in closing, during these uncertain times with COVID and bereavements, for the last 2 years, Norway House cremation has gone through a lot of adversity. My family and I would like to extend our condolence to all the people that lost their loved ones in the last 2 years. May God bless you and keep you safe. Thank you, Egusi. On March 7th, elect Henry Moore for chief. It will probably be under Henry Andrew Moore.
Next, we have Chief Candidate Fred Muskago. Is this your book, Henry? Is this yours? Okay.
What's that? Sorry again, Henry. I'm Fred Muskago. I'm running for chief again. I believe strongly in our people and our community, and I take the responsibility of the role of chief very seriously. Proper governance and policy is important in all decisions we make together as councillors and community. I'm reading from my pamphlet here, and I can hand them out whenever after the speeches, and I'll be handing them out through the mail tomorrow, hopefully. And the freedom of religion. I'm open-minded and respect everybody's religious beliefs. I'm open to all religions. I've been to every church. I was born into the United Church. My wife is Anglican. I've been to Catholic and Pentecostal, and even gone to a sweat. And in all these religions, they all talk about saigituin and respect. And that's what I use, Nina, for my role as a person. Love and respect everybody. As a leader, my job is not to judge anybody, but help everyone to the best of my ability, regardless of their beliefs or lifestyle. I will work with other leaders that you have elected and respect their input in all the band matters. We will work together to accomplish all the important issues that we want us to address. And I noticed there are 30 candidates for council. There are lots of educated, experienced people there, and I think Norway House Cree Nation's already a winner as they picked 6 of those candidates. Financial management. I've been putting it on Facebook that I have questions about the accountability, transparency of the last 4 years, and I'm not attacking anybody. It's just questions that I have, concerns, and that's all it is. But do you mind if you elect me, I'll do an audit review of all current projects to see if the policy and procedures were followed and if they will continue. Like we have Bison Housing, Cobra Housing that we don't know about, the fuel farm, we have questions about that. There was a crusher bought. I have questions about that. I don't know what's going on. Mining activity, there was mention about opening up. But we've been talking about this mine for about 15, 20 years, but the fishermen had concerns about it because of the spawning grounds on Limestone Bay for the walleye. So that was put to bed a long time ago, but I guess it's out there. And these projects, I'll have all the answers along with because this will be Chief and Council. We will have all these answers within 3 months after we get in with all these questions. PDC, operations planning, we have employee benefits. They don't have any employee benefits, or even the electricians, plumbing, carpenters, they don't have any employee benefits. So if they get hurt, they're on their own. So it just takes 4% of their wages, 4% of the Norway House's input to get the insurance. So it's not a big deal. And also, I'm committing to doing monthly reports on the radio. We have a radio here, we might as well utilize it. If we're gone for meetings, we tell people what the meetings were for and what we accomplished. Also, I'd like to re-establish the Elders Committee to give us advice and direction to Council, a youth committee to be part of the Council to inform us on recreation, education, and their future plans, because youth should have an input on what they want to see coming up in the next few years. Housing. This is always a problem, and we all mention it as candidates. The new NINA program that I'd like to start is $1 million fixing our homes, renovation. We have with the welfare, they have renovation programs through CMHC, but for the people that are working, they want doors, little things like doors, windows, and they cost money. So we'll set aside $1 million each year for the workers that want to help themselves get the repairs. Also, I want to set aside another $1 million for a homeowner program. 10 people per year. What we would put down is $100,000 towards the first payment either through grants or through revenue from Norway House Cree Nation projects. And the rest would be mortgaged by the owner, whoever applies, will mortgage the rest for the labor costs. So $100,000 will get you a 3-bedroom house with the material. You just have to finish the labor yourself through a mortgage. But that'll be fine-tuned as we go along. I also have a human elders assistance, home assistance programs. There's lots of elders that stay home with their kids and they need help sometimes cleaning up because the people that they stay with are working or out working. So they'll need help to clean up their house, or some of them have stoves, get their firewood, chopped wood, help these elders that are at home. And health. I know there was mention of, I'd like to see a drug and alcohol treatment center. There's lots of grant money for these projects that I'm mentioning. A detox center for the people that need help. Life skills and cultural programs for the young to help them get to know who they really are as Native people. Well, we are, I guess. And we have to improve the pharmacy services. I know it's sometimes when you phone there, no answer, but if there's a problem, well, let's fix it. Personal care home, Pinawati, it needs a feasibility study to get in. That's an old building, so we should have another one. Emergency medical services. We'll do a comprehensive program plan to secure funding. Medical services, 33 Maryland is a big problem. The food, they're complaining about the food, transportation within the city, so we have to improve the services at 33 Maryland. Water and sewer. Water and sewer, garbage. We always had a contract for these water and we never had problems. Each block, you knew who your contractor was, you knew where to get a hold of them, their phone number, and they would deliver it twice a week. Now you're lucky if you get it once a week. So I will renew their contracts. I don't know how many contracts, but that's something we have to work out. If we have to get trucks for the people that are applying, we will help them get it. Internet service. I know when you talk to me, you lose them because they're, but we have fiber optics coming in, but we need a service provider. And Bell, for some reason, I think Bell is too big. They don't care about a little place like Norway House. So there is a place, there's a company, Rogers, that has done work in Alberta on reserve, and they improved the internet, the cell service, and this is one of the companies that I will look at to bring in here and get everything set up so we have a better internet service. Okay, economic development. I know we have an economic development worker in one of the 15 non-band members working in Winnipeg. There's an economic development worker. I will have one here to help with the people that want to start a business or expand their existing business. I also would like to help $5,000 to $10,000 per person to start businesses or expand their businesses up to 100,000. So maybe 10 people. So that's just a brief outline of along with the council that we will try and get going in Norway House if elected. And they probably have 6 different ideas we saw. We would stay down, hammer out what's best for Norway House and present it. Just because it's my idea doesn't mean it's the best. We'll have 7 ideas and we'll work with it and work with the people, and then we'll bring it to you. And we'll have meetings every 3 months. Heaven forbid if COVID is gone, hopefully it's gone by now. So I'd like to thank you, Nista. I could have done this in Creamery at 10 minutes with Tawid Amagaya. Ginanas ko midno, kantos tawid. Nista ko pag-usin ni midno at tawanas na suniek o gamahan yan or Mark Tabe. Thank you very much.
Candidate for Chief, Darlene Sullivan. I think we're trying to see if we can get her LinkedIn somehow on the video because unfortunately you do have to be fully vaccinated to come in here. So we will come back to the last candidate to speak at the end after we're done all the councillors. So we'll come back to her if she's ready. So for councillors again, you'll have 5 minutes for your speech, and you'll have a 1-minute warning and a 30-second warning. And just make sure you're looking at Amber because she'll just show you your warnings as well. So the first candidate we have is for councillor is Eddie Albert. Is he here?
Neguse, thank you. My name is Eddie Albert, running for council. I got nominated the latter part of the nomination night. I figured I'd go last, but I'm front again. But anyway, Danse, Nutemak, Dahumaganak, Nina Eddie Albert, running for council. for leader for the next 4 years. The basic need is what we have to focus on for our families in our community, which is housing, water and sewer, sanitation services, and mental illness, as well as drugs and alcohol. Those are the pressing issues that we have in our community, and I think with the right chief and council, possibly an advisory committees for various departments, I think we can come up with a plan, develop a strategic plan, and focus on getting these issues addressed as a community, not just by myself, not just for the chief. It's together as a community. My vision is this year, for the next 4 years, is working together for our community. And I did develop a logo, which is right here. And basically it's focusing on, it's a logo of a York boat. I used this the last forum I was a few years back. And basically, this burgundy color logo is a York boat. We move forward, leadership must roll in sync to achieve their goals. And the circle represents our community. Wherever we go with the community. Together, as a community, we can roll as one team to be successful and thriving nation. Because if one is struggling, we all struggle to get where we are. And I think that's important, is to work together for the next 4 years, not just the leadership, but also as a community. I envision the community to develop little advisory communities. I've been in various committees throughout my working with the Northwest Cree Nation for the last 30 plus years. I've been on a school authority, ministry agency. I was part of the housing authority, the North Hills Historical Society. I was part of the MIA review committee. I was also probably one of the first group that had the youth chief and council, and also part of a network committee, and in minor hockey association in all capacities. And also I was the president of the Keystone Junior Hockey. And I know how committees work. And I think if we develop these committees in our community, we can fulfill some of the pressing issues that we have. One other thing I wanted to mention, well, a few things is, I have 1 minute, is a way of life. I think back that when I was young, I used to see Leonard Duncan taking his clients to a camping trip. I wanted to go on, but I wasn't part of that when I wasn't his client. They were solving abuse people, youth that took part in that, you know. I think we should give that opportunity to our youth, our community members. I, for one, first time last year, I went to Molson Lake, and it was an eye-opening. And I think we have a beautiful community that we can share amongst our own community, not just the people that come visit, but our own community. So on March 7th, vote Eddie Albert for councillor. Negose.
Okay, next we have Albert Apatagan, councillor candidate.
Good evening, Nancy. My name is Albert Charles Apatagan, and I'm running for council. And the reason why I'm running for council is because a couple of people came and asked me, and I said, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to do that because of all the things that's been happening. But when I thought about it, I thought about the health of our community, the health and wellness and the well-being of our people. And coming back to Norway House in 2019, I was privileged to get the position for the mental health administrator. And that is to administer mental health into the community with the young people, with the children, with the adults, with the elders. And also the service provides for all the community of Norway House. The other programs that are here, CP, the medicine agency. Like I did programming for them. I did some training with them. And building those kind of relationship is somewhat we need to do together. Whether I get in as council or whether I not get in as council, that will be up to the people. And I'm not here to can say that I don't want to work with you. I want to work with you. I want to work together as a team. And I have done that within the past 2 years. It was hard because of the restrictions and the conditions that we were in. It was hard. It was hard to move around. And I was worried about people being isolated. I was worried about people being locked down. I was worried about those things, the things that we don't see. We all went through that together. But we need to come and talk about it together and what kind of programs can we have in place for that. And to reconnect with them. The elders, they carry that wisdom. The young people, they carry what we have today, and we have to lead by example. And the children, those are our future. And we've lost a lot through the pandemic. It was heartbreaking, and we couldn't even come together as a community. So the mental health was impacted in so many ways. It affected everyone in so many different ways. We all heal pahan, different. But the thing that I need to do is to revisit Kinano as a community, revisit these places that kind of broke us. And to have in place a community emergency response plan for crisis in the community. I think we weren't prepared for this. None of us were. And how it impacted everything. Health is everywhere. Housing, economic development. It impacted everything. And from like the daycare, it's really packed we have a large population. I couldn't believe how many people live in Norway House. We need to expand. We need to increase our programs and services. And we need to develop those kind of relationships up there that are affordable to come and teach our people. So I hope that I have said enough, and I still have a lot to say. My Facebook page is Albert Charles. My phone number is 204-301-0943. My house number is 204-359-8733. Phone me, come visit me. I've done that for you, and I hope I have your food March 7, 2022 as your councillor. Egusani, inanaskumit now.
Next we have Councillor candidate Anthony Apatagan.
Good evening, everybody. Anthony Apatagan, Snigasan. Can I get a Miscat now? Tagaig, Kanduch to make on radio. Just wanted to give you a little snapshot of where I've been in the last little while here. For the past 8 years, I've been a councillor for Norway House Cree Nation. The last 4 also serving as deputy chief, which was not very well known in the community. I have been accessible to the community members at all hours of the day. Kapag tagigibit na kapag inaskosit on my phone, epi amiga yang yami abitat tibiskak 4 o'clock in the morning. Yastane one scan, then TV chevit tago kegoni yotanige panigi giguak afu kimat swinoak. Kapag gibit chevit na nantawis panigotais koniganik hemet tawano kemat sipanik. Nanto Hispanic birthday party, event to make a kapinga, pigagadotan. But the my would say what in no, you got taking his kinema, winno, Mr. Tong Itagain. Until you walk with the people, you will know with the people. That's why I never went and hid in my house, in my office. I was always accessible. I did not back away from a conversation from anybody because as a leader in this community, I felt it necessary to try and provide the answers to everybody. I may not have had all the answers, but I went searching for them. I have a lot of experience. Prior to becoming a councillor for the past 8 years, I was an employee for over 30 years. I've devoted my life to the Cree Nation as an employee and as an elected official. There are times when I've missed some very key milestones in my family's life, but they understood that I had to be with the people when there was something going on. We could celebrate later. That's the type of individual I am. I'm accessible. I'm always around. You always see me, and I have no intentions of slowing down. I'm asking for 4 more years to be your councillor because I know I can do the job. Re-elect me as your councillor, and I will continue working hard for you. Keep regular office hours, very important. I walked in the office every morning and left in the afternoon. I never walked in after lunch and stuck around for an hour and took off. That's not me. I got paid to do a job, and that's what I did, all hours of the night. I'll keep supporting the membership by attending community events, celebrations, bereavements, advocate for more youth programs, education programs, housing, employment, sports and recreation program, and of course, health programs. Work on establishing a new personal care home. For years and years, the personal care home has been given X amount of dollars to start the process of building a new home. That hasn't happened. That question needs to be asked on how the money has been used. So keep that in mind. Also, I will continue supporting the community-led health center of excellence team. If you don't know, 5 of the 4 members on that team are Norway House Cree Nation members. Our own people are building that hospital. 75% of our people are on the workforce at the hospital. I'm proud of that. There have been people that have attempted to derail this project, but I stuck to my guns and said, no, we're going to build this hospital. It's been ongoing for 20 years, and we need to make sure it gets done. And if you have any questions about these things, you can come and ask me, and I will tell you. I will tell you the truth, and that's all I can do. We're at a place at the crossroads in our community right now. We have a lot of stuff that has been purchased, a lot of buildings that have been put up. Some of them I don't even know until I saw a list of the buildings that have been put up. You know, the communication hasn't all been that great, and what I'd like to do moving forward is take a step back, evaluate where we're at, develop a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan to ensure that we do not overbuild, that we have enough funds to meet our operational needs. I was a big supporter of the Mission Island Community Center. I went there when it first opened, big hoopla. I loved watching the kids play. I went back 2 months later, it's closed. When I asked what was going on, there was no funding for operational, no funding for staffing. And I'm going like, that's a shame, you know, because the kids really need that place over there. And of course the people. So I'm a man that works
Sorry, your
hard.
time is up.
Thank you so much. Vote for me on March 7, 2022. Egasan and Dutem. God bless you.
Next, we have Councillor candidate Orville Aptagan.
Okay, thank you and good evening, everyone out there. My name is Orville Apatagan, and I'd like to begin by thanking my nominator, Angela Crumberty, and seconder Donna Muskago for the position of councillor for the Norway House Cree Nation. I am highly accountable, honest, transparent, and I will work hard for the people. I have great respect for our elders and youth, and I will advocate for the young and old. I am a certified accountant and hold an accounting designation. I hold office as a trustee for the Keenan Trust. And I'm also on the side, I'm a licensed blaster. I'm presently employed with the Norway House Cree Nation as the Norway House external financial controller, responsible for the businesses and entities' finances and accounting. I am a great supporter for people who want to start their own businesses, and I've actually helped create one here in Norway House, the Charlie Biggs operation. That was my work, my business plan. I have business consultant contacts out there that can also help with business plans and financing. I can point you in the right direction in all of this. Business ownership creates employment for the people here. The business center, if it is built, will also provide opportunities for businesses to open there, and I'm a supporter of this building. Housing, it's the most important issue in the community of Norway House, with a lot of overcrowding. The Housing Authority has always been in existence for quite some time, with sitting members, but policies are not followed by Chief and Council. They get involved, and they shouldn't be. That shouldn't happen. You know, you need to follow your Housing Authority recommendations, and I'm a strong believer in that. The youth. I have a strong background in hockey, and I am a great supporter of minor hockey, youth baseball, minor senior hockey, the Junior B program, and all community events like York Boat Days, which I have been involved for many, many years, coordinating it, the races, that is. I am a supporter for people getting their education. I strongly believe that, once you're educated, it provides opportunities for that weren't there before. I will help assist, bring new training programs. Norway House Cree Nation is always short on carpenters, plumbers, electricians, heavy equipment operators. All of these fields are very important. The field of accounting is another one that we should be sending our people to. I work in finance, and I am a highly accountable guy, very approachable. And in conclusion, I am trustworthy. I will be a hard-working councillor if elected. I am approachable, friendly, and have respect for all, and I will always be in the office at work every day. I will do everything in my power to help people no matter what it is. I seek your support and vote for the March 7, 2022 election. Thank you, and have a good evening, everyone, and good luck to all the other candidates out there. Thank you very much.
Candidate Irene Balfour, next.
Good evening, everyone. Man, did I ever fly here just to make this forum? What should have taken me 9 hours, took me 7 to get here so that I can stand here and speak with you. So anyway, I just want to let everybody know that I'm not, like I consider myself a different from all the other candidates because I lived and experienced the social issues that our community still continues to fight or try to find solutions. And I worked as a post-secondary school counselor, and through there I saw a lot of students, worked with a lot of students, went over and above for the students so that they can find a home, even took some food to them. So those are some of the services that I've done for them, even though it went outside of my job description. And with this new project that's coming up, I'm someone that likes to look forward, and as soon as I heard some of the initiatives that were coming up, like that low environmental impact mining, I thought, well, our people need to get certified, need to get their tickets. When that Health Center of Excellence went up, I spoke with the team and I said, I want my students to be considered first, because I don't want them to feel or lose track as to why they're going to school. Because in every facet of what they're going to school for, we're going to need here. One of the things that I've also experienced was that our off-reserve community members need the same support that our on-reserve community members need. We need to establish an off-reserve budget for them so that they can get that support. Also, in light of the violence that has been going on in the community, we also need to address that. We also have to come at that very strong. There's too many people that are living in fear. We even lost some young people lives have been taken. We need to address that. That's a very serious concern. Mental health and addictions is another area that I'm going to focus on, that I would like to focus on, because that is real. That is real, and it also needs our attention. For the community justice, I think we all can come together and find a solution to work towards addressing the violence and the drugs. Here, meth, crack cocaine, and cocaine, those are some of the serious drugs that are here in our community. I'd like to see some services here. I am coming from the grassroots perspective. I want to walk with the community members, and I want to listen to their concerns, and I want to bring their concerns to Chief and Council, to the table, and find those services that will bring support and professional developments to our frontline workers, and bring support and services to the people that are dependent on those drugs. Because the fact of the matter is they are dependent on them, and we need to help them wean themselves off of that. As mentioned before, I've lived with the current issues, and you know what? Not once have I ever had a house here, which is why I live off reserve. Not once. I put my application in. When it came close to me making the top of the line, elections came, and I was bumped down to the bottom. So just a snapshot of what it's been like for me. And I think that it's very important that everybody get the support and nobody be left out. Egosane.
Next, we have candidate Pam Balfour. If Pam isn't here, we'll go to the next person, is Thomas Bradburn.
Egusi, ninas kumau mantu anus kampe mau jite huta. Eminent teman senisti igi wanasuni gayano ma kampahtano. Egusi Darlene is nigasa ni magan na pesang tiang nista mino dus simenese. Ma piegi ki wanisa kisintohta na oma kinogantohta make in your homes. Ego si umagesi nadetan, te siamitan, minata si sintohtatan gista, umagesi amitan esi inenimo ni saisi. Ega isa pogo piego, ega isa tapian pogo ina office kay tsagatik. May pio bahtan man nagaya sigi papamuhtet man na councillor, papaminat takwas kay gana. Ego sinina iso, ego tisi nina tenda tutta manse. Eminent taman maga mischedi chikisa kehtiat sakanas uta iskonegane kese. Tegi siami tano misi seise wanasuniane tegi tapo igena miansa. Minan kastan mina misite sandito tanista iya mehagikan anesinno iya kana simo dottogi miset mana. Isite ne dohtane ko si seise ya mi hake ke se ko si seise uma ne kastani ya mi ana aga na si mo anisa agan tabo ehten tabo ke ne misne soma ka atuskene soma de girut tamane tatus ka tanisa atuskena aga nisa tabo vamo ehte tatus ko atisa hotinima giskenten mistahe atuskeno ta keno se sipi Embestede tiktabe kitus kat simenanak miane meslat atet mischete sa suhertas kio gisto viattas katta hekisa ekiskino maasitsik minekeskino maasitsik mina monina pugos katsa miset nano mine tisimetto itsikisa mine wapmakike waseme maga kitaventinano että taisi maositut sikos katsak ako maga mittonisan nista nagiwitattas ke monaha ana kami ni nga nit sa chief edit sintay naman sa tasisiat skip na kuma umay sa miyong may ya abodi kay chigatik kimistet tinano as members, and we need to work together. Tamamot to ski hisa. Ngiskenten mianamente higmistet and sinog ute 330 am skutagatik Winnipeg 333. Nigiskenten den tao se o just ni chiga westin gona menosik niste se aga pagetto hog minen nisto piago pagetto ni chiga westin and higegona. That's who we are. Egoni gina no me. Agamino anigi ogmina. Minaniga peab maa kes igi pepas pakesunu maasut sikese igi johpena higese gegon. Ja taskasut sikese. Egoni tavi cheese mina. Minanigo tatuskeog that tisi. That tisimenent higesa that environment, that atmosphere kaitono taminent higo tatuskeno guys at the genop mystic is a dananaga cheese chicisa, tatuske at the scare. Mistake pag Muskago nagagon with the trucks right machimaski he, mini heaven, mistake mutemagan in our reserve food there. Agamaga, you want to still is a bylaws, you want to style that we are a dry reserve habits. Agama mistahig, we sagentam, umamit tenen chigane, mina, we are so much swindy. Ako na mga, kagita pa rin mo ay saspin, itod ni na ako isa. You can believe me, you can trust me, and I will bring things in the open, transparency ito, mananagatan kayo kon, napetan na kayo kon in the open. Nanas kumit na isa ito tawi kasi, isinto tawi ko may, muna napunta na witche, kana sinumisito ko ng piyapin ni witche, itimagin namang tinim. It's just guess tamag in the most tamok, he says. You can trust me, to be your counselor, a voice of truth, Thomas Bradburn. Good night, everybody.
Next, we have Brian Captain.
Hello, that's it. Ryan Captain Nistigazan. I'm 23 years old. And I stood up here 4 years ago when I was 19, when I ran in 2018. I would like to acknowledge my nominators. My first one was Amber Captain, and my second, Thayer Monroe. I take this position as councillor very serious. In the last 4 years, I have obtained a lot of jobs. I was working at the Hudson Bell Railway for a couple of months, and then I turned to JNR. For two and a half years I spent there, I stood as a safety advisor to JNR and Sick Vision. I earned a lot of respect and people that I have met there. I learned a lot of things. I'm always learning new things every day. And what my plans are for this community, for our youth and our elders and our future generations to come, we have to establish education. What I found about education was more fundings for programs that are needed. And the job I did at JNR was, I was a heavy equipment operator. I went to school 3 times. When in 2018, I obtained my heavy equipment operator certificate from NHCN. And afterwards, in 2019, I got my leadership safety of excellence from Manitoba Heavy Construction. And prior to that, this past year, in November, I just obtained my First Nation Safety Officer training certificate in Brandon. Further down the road, that's one thing I like to put my focus on, is the safety and priority of the community. Violence has been raised to substantially to know a lot from my time working as a safety officer in town. My plan was to help establish the Manitoba First Nations policing to come to Norway House to replace the RCMP provincial police. And when I was speaking to the director of Manitoba First Nations policing, he said that there will be more budgeting wise as in Manitoba First Nations safety officer training. Within maybe March, he should have a quote for $1.3 million of spending money that will be produced through other First Nations communities. As also, let me find out here. And also I'd like to, sorry, hold on. The Public Safety of Canada is currently undergoing process with all provinces and territories, expand the footprint of the First Nations police program to reach First Nations, but it's currently under the FMPP. Manitoba is wanting to develop a new self-administrated policing service like Manitoba First Nation Policing. This is still going negotiating with Public Safety Canada, and one of the biggest Indigenous police services is in Ontario, which is totally underfunded. It's called NAPS. It controls 37 communities, First Nation communities in Ontario, which is totally underfunded with 137 First Nations police officers. So my time with the cadet training, I would also produce an account for that to help bring up cadets, to build our future for our kids and the safety of our public and our community and our people. Unfortunately, I can't get through everything all at once, so if you'd like to come see me, talk to me, anything like that, I'm open. Come see me, call me, text me. My number is 204-979-9744. On March 7, I ask for your nomination, your vote, or elect me as your councillor. Thank you for listening.
Next, councillor candidate Dion Clark.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see everyone and to be a part of this candidates forum in front of our community. I just want to take a moment just to acknowledge the couple of young youth candidates, Brian and Tyler. I know it's good to see more young people rise up and to have the boldness and the courage to do this kind of work. You know, it takes heart. And I thank the Lord for their boldness to stand forward and to put their name in the race today. So today I just want to thank and acknowledge my nominators, Beatrice Quesacapo. You know, she's been a very good encouragement and a strong prayer warrior and somebody that always supported me. And also I want to acknowledge Kathy Winas for nominating me also, and for Doreen Godwin for always encouraging me. You know, I'm very honored and greatly honored by their support. Also, I want to thank my wife, Christine. You know, there's so much I can say about her, you know, but I thank her for praying for me and for believing in me, and for the years of sacrifice that has taught us that faith will keep our family strong. Your love and your support keep me focused on the things that matter most to the families and the children of Norway House. Also, I'm also thankful for the wisdom and the prayers of our elders, the community members, and the staff. With them, with all of them, we were able to achieve financial stability. We were able to handle the pandemic response, and we were able to focus on the path of innovation and progress. Norway House is the home to many, and the love that we have for our community and for each other runs strong within every family. It is this love that gives us the passion and the vision to see our great nation to become greater than the obstacles that try to discourage and destroy our people. Relying on God and the passion He puts in our hearts will guide us and give us the clear direction on how we move forward and to heal and to prosper as a nation. On March 7th, every person has the free will to choose who they will vote for and will set the path for the next 4 years. So this election, I do hope that I have earned your trust and to serve as your counselor. And my vision for the next 4 years is unity. And that's something we gotta have, and that's something every one of the councillor candidates and chief candidates have to realize, that in order to move forward, we gotta have unity. Because it's unity that will cause us to move in sync and to cause us to move forward. And so many times that we can fall out of sync, and we can look foolish to our community, and we can look foolish to the outside world, and we can look foolish to the governments when we begin to sit in front of them. We need unity in order for us to move forward and to be able to sit in tables in front of other government officials. We need that unity. So unity will be the way forward. In the last 4 years, it was very hard as we had a council that was split and refused to work for progress. Instead, I endured slanderous accusation and maltreatment from men I highly respected. But nonetheless, I kept focused on the job I was entrusted to do. I quickly learned that not everyone is your friend in council, and not everyone will have the same views. Instead, I have learned to keep working for the people and to keep voicing their concerns. Our community faces many challenges, and the issues run deep. And we have families that are torn apart by addictions, unemployment, and no place to call home. And the systematic violence and neglect that we face for many generations has caused and created problems that look impossible to solve. But if we have a nation that wants a better future, then there is hope. And after the next election, I do hope that we have leaders that will have the heart to fight for the people and not sabotage the plans of other leaders. My next 4 years, I will focus on finding more solutions. And this will include jobs, more homes for family, batch units, water and sewer lines to all areas of the community, and local addiction treatment options, more youth programming, and turn the Molson Lake Lodge into a fishing and hunting programming for our youth and families, and even a summer camp. So I believe, as a leader, we must respect the people's choice and to work in unity. Together, we can fight for the community and to echo the voice of the people through the halls of Manitoba Hydro, through the Manitoba government, and all the way to Ottawa. So it's through unity we can become a stronger and much greater nation. Together, if all the chief councillors, candidates work together. God bless you.
Next, we have candidate for Councillor Donna Clarke.
Tansem. Get yatsaga you know suditik tabim bahtani giga get sumitsik. Mr. Tomanan Beijawak. And I spend more time with them. And he pagusay namatsik tansige rotaman sasin no swuniga yani. I went to marathon and I started sharing these stuff, the stories. Not stories, but Scott Sagabito, they're coming pounding on my door. 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And when it's so sick, no place to go home to. Tanehe, how many counselors have gone by? Agaw Scott Sagabits was kaganis, kanige was kaganis tagia to Scott Sag. Ego da tagi behtagan and mutsik. Egadaw pamahamigisitik. Nasisitiget anahasin. Gehtiatsak. Minagitin ininigumaganak. Nasistanahasin no. Egatawanin tahik. Tabegit magitagan. Minagit magitagan. Gehtiatis minapyak pisim. Tadibehtaman agamik ewigit. Agegamit tanarfu pagonegamik. Mora po may tanar was kaya gani sihat. Ako ni po isa mustise. Agana gutak ko ni piagan gutak. Minana gutak was kaya gani manafu gani kaya was kaya gani manafu gani kaya pagone kami kaya. Ako ni po isa mustise. Kaya agit magit tagan agami nana gutak. Ema tasa gamit wah no tasa gamit aga minus 40 below. Kagit magit sak. And I'm willing to stand with them. Was just close by their loved ones. It could be their grandfathers, their grandmothers, umama o igwa, or their even aunties, uncles. Itesibet tagenemutsik. Agamina gehtiat siga magumina uskay mina tenta mag. They need a new building, a commercial building. How many years it may us take and that personal. It's still the same. How many years? And there's a friend of mine, actually my sister-in-law, Indian Affairs on a government. That's how I knew about the money. Going back and forth, back to the government pocket. When we thought Indian Affairs, Mozak Benate with the leaders, Dane. I'm going to make Sasson, Green Osun and now. Agamina was Kagan Ohone. Danato Minigana Bitik, Gastatic, Mr. Massitic. Nesto 3 houses, Piak Anisin had. A family has gone by. And these families, Danato. Make it timagisitik was kegana. How many years it me don't tamatic was kegana? I may pass it as to artistic book, not to care, but only the favorites. It's time to stop the favorites. Agamina brothers, sisters. It's time to look at the whole community, the whole families. Enough of this. Get timagis o tanigi. If those young people were frozen. Why? Because there was no little shelter. Kitimagan. Maybe it's time. It's time for a new leadership. So if you anoint me, sasin minosunyego skatsak, kinagetiatsak, kampaganosune kinomanima. I'm willing to stand. Tabigagitimagan, we start waskaganek, the families, kayas how many years? Emepehutsik. Ako ni mana piagan pugaday do tawag. Agani gagi tom me ma ministik. Hay gusto ma ego gagi taman. Agami na kino ininwa kino ga sugat siek. Honesty is power. Sasan tawe ego malche suhata pigis kwe. Agat tamama ya Toscanwa. Kita mama ya pinanwa. Kita itonwa. Kita ispano. Ay gusane, Donna Clarke nina, Yampaganosunig, Vinosuniego, Navitsagabaisten, Pugegonis, Tamek, Guys Pagosen Tamek, Mitanimots and Magatentaga, even that women's wellness, Egomina anima.
Candidate Donald Dickson for councillor.
Thank you. I'd like to thank God that I'm standing here today in front of you all, and to thank God for this beautiful day that we're all here today. I would like to thank my nominators, Rowena Anderson and Winnie Albert. Thank you for trusting in me and seeing the potential in me to lead this community in a safe and brighter future for the youth, elders, and all community members. Thank you. The two programs I envision to see here in Norway House, and all the other candidates are talking about it. Well, what I envision to see here is one, the Phoenix House program. It's a program, and two, a maternity home program. These are living programs where the clients get programming and counseling and get all the help they need to succeed. These programs have been proven successful. Let's apply them here for our people. Let's bring them here. Number three, we need a second welfare office. The population on our clientele is rising. It's always rising, every month. So we need a second welfare office, just to be fair to the walk-ins that these clients don't have vehicles. Remember that. Another thing, number 4, 10-year grant. We're in a 10-year grant right now, so we must watch how we spend money. Watch how you spend money. We're in a 10-year grant. We started in 2019-20. We still got till 2020. 10 years. So, boards. Where are the boards for housing, social, health, and even the possible nickel mine? We should have had a board already. Not those ones working there, but the ones actually putting the money in, that they'll keep us updated on everything. The mine. What agreements were made so far? Who's involved? Who holds contracts or dollar figures? We should be more informed, the people. Mental health. Mental health is, I talked about it with the programs here, but for the people working in the front lines, was there extra help for our mental health team or community wellness workers? We need to expand their service delivery dollars. Everything that's going into mental health, we need to expand all that service delivery. We need more workers, more programs. Jordan's Principle, it's an awesome program, but let's enhance their service delivery dollars. For example, let's get a program. Let's get the program a nice wheelchair accessible bus for their clients, so they can go around town. They can go to programming, so they can do their own programmings, and around the community. That's what that money is there for. It's not for leadership to grab and use for their own. That's what Jordan's Principle is all about. Elders. We need a budget to focus on elders, such as a special support budget. We can utilize the youth to fundraise for this program. It is good practice and experience to fundraise and to do proposal. Let's help the elders. Housing. There are always issues with our housing program. We all have issues at home. Every one of us. You could all raise your hand if you want. But how can we enhance our repair budget or budgets? There's 3 kinds of homes on reserve. There's private, CMHC, and ban. So what happened to the free housing? What happened to the ban housing? Did somebody mess that up, or what? We don't see that anymore. Maybe we can utilize program policies to help client repairs. We have to put our heads together with the managers to get to know what they have for shelter policy and make it our own, since we're in a 10-year grant. We also need housing authority to work with the people, and let's not discriminate on the family dynamics of children. And another thing is hydro. Social spends a lot of hydro, $115K a month, and they apply the credit, but
the credit is not there to grow. Double dipping in my eyes.
Sorry, your time is up.
Vote Donald Dickson for councillor.
Next is Councillor candidate James Dixon.
Yeah, I will. Good afternoon, good evening. James Dixon, Disneyazanam, your current councillor, was elected in 2018. And I'm honored and I'm glad that I've obtained your trust. And Tanina naskumit na hinagetiad sa uskat sa anuska kagisigag. Firstly, I just want to thank my nominator, Albert Apatagan, my seconder, Gerald Keeper, for their faith and honor and trust to keep this councillor position going for the next term. In an Ascoman, I just want to acknowledge the people out there that are listening on YouTube, all the band members that are in Winnipeg, Thompson, you know, in an Ascomit na for your support and your dedication, you know, and your katapo inimig sa nista da bimbahtaan gihtom. You know, 2018 when we got in, my colleagues, our finances, we had to get working on that. 2018, we were in third party. Nagiton. We were in third party. We didn't have a plan. We didn't have nothing. As Chief Anderson mentioned, 15 million out of our pockets right away. Normally, you allow your next chief and council to have ability to work on their vision, their aspirations. For in 2018, we had nothing like that. We had to start fresh. We had to press. We had to sit down with governments. We had to press with ISC, negotiate with them. We had to negotiate with Royal Bank. We had to negotiate with BMO to make paychecks, to make social payments. My colleagues will remember that. It was hard going in. First year was really hard. Second year, we made changes with our chief financial officer, Mr. Michael Lee. He came into play. He got to work. He worked day and night for Norway House Cree Nation. He was working for us to make sure we have that future and hope for our people, for our youth. You work for us in different capacities. There was no money. There was no money for programs, youth programming. We got to work. We got to work with each portfolio. There was no work. There was no training. Nothing like that happening. We did stimulate the economy. We got PDC men working. We got people making houses. We got the people to start making homes for our people, for our youth. There was no ministerial loan guarantees. Today, we have ministerial loan guarantees from CMHC. That's why we can do things. That's why we can build homes. Going forward, that's why we can renovate homes. That's why we can provide extensions. That was my portfolio, housing. And people were lining up. 2018, people were lining up down the hallways, coming to my office. As Chief Anderson mentioned, there was 250, 300 applicants. Today we have 500, 600, 700 people in the waiting line because they have hope. They see development. They see houses going up. They have hope. And we're going to continue to provide housing, renovation, extensions to our people. We're going to provide water and sewer lines. We're going to start implementing future development mapping. We're going to start building in divisions water sewer lines. And one highlight I want to do, as portfolio for Environmental Monitoring Agency, we do the remediation cleanup at the Rossville School. So we're going to clean that. But first, the unmarked graves came into play, the 215. We're going to do the ground penetrating radar. We're going to start working on that as soon as the new government comes in. We're going to start. These are heavy things and international. It's going to be in the news. So stay tuned for that. We need you, elders. We need your advice. We need to move forward on that. November 7, re-elect James Dixon as your councillor. Thank you.
Next candidate for councillor is Tyler Duncan.
Good evening. Tansin na dute mak kakanaw wahumaganak kakanaw ganaw CP ininuak Tyler Duncan at this nangazon nino man nebempatan wan sweno kinu CP usti kitata maskat na on and what I welcome you all here today. I'm Tyler Duncan. I'm a candidate for councillor of our wonderful home of Norway House. I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to get right into it. We need to remember that after this election, we have to come together, we have to work together. We are one people, we're one community. We can fight and bicker all we want, but we need to remember that we need to heal and we need to bring those divisions together after this election. There's candidates in this room I have disagreements with, and that's okay. I will never stop respecting you. I will never stop caring about you and your families because we're all connected one way or another. We're friends in this community. I was brought up in a large part by my grandparents as the oldest grandchild. And a big thing that was instilled in me was you don't look down on people. And that's really rooted in me as a person to never look down on people. And when I went out campaigning, a lot of people, especially our less fortunate people, they looked at me and they said, do you know Justin Trudeau? Do you know Wab Canoe? Do you know these people? I said, yes. But what's important to me is that our people know that I will listen. Listening to you, the people of Norway House Cree Nation, is more important to me than talking to the Prime Minister of Canada. The fact that when I speak, they will listen is to benefit you. I have done nothing but work my entire life to get known out there so that it can benefit this community. My heart, my spirit, and everything I am is based in this community and our people. It means absolutely everything to me to move this community forward. And we need to start putting younger people in leadership because the people that are running now will not be around forever. So start putting younger people there so we can be there with them and learn and grow with them and work with them. For me, I'm committing to being a team player. I want to work with whoever wins, no matter who wins. If we have disagreements, we'll work it out. We got to communicate, talk it out. We'll have public meetings. We'll bring that information to the people. I want you, the people of Norway House Cree Nation that are watching and that are listening, to know I will be a servant of the people, by the people, but most importantly for the people. As long as my heart's beating and there's breath in my lungs, I will be here to speak for the people of Norway House Cree Nation. I love this community and I care about nothing more than the future of this community. When you speak, I will listen and I will be your voice. I will always be here to speak for you. I hope you'll allow me to be your servant. I hope you will allow me to work for you and to prove myself. My slogan in this election is Nigan Itapatan, look to the future. So I am asking you to look to the future, because the future is not tomorrow, the future is not in 4 years or in 10 years. The future is now. I've been prepared, and I've been taught. I'm looking at people I saw as leaders growing up. I respect these people. Me and Chief Anderson were close. But I see former Chief Albert Apatagan, I see former Chief Ronald Evans. All of you people taught me stuff. I watched and I learned and I listened. We need to come together as a people and work together regardless after this election. And I hope that you will allow me that opportunity to be your counselor, to work with you, to stand with you, and to talk with you. You know I can speak, but it's more important to me, all of you at home, that you know that I will listen. If there's an elder at home that's having to choose between paying the hydro bill or buying food, that makes me poorer, even if that's not my grandparent. If there's a student in Winnipeg that is having to choose between the rent and filling up the freezer, that makes me struggle, even if that's not my sister or my brother. We need to work together. We need to come together, and I hope you'll allow me to work for you. I commit to empowering our nation, inspiring our youth, and looking to the future. I hope I can count on your support. God bless you all, and may God forever bless the future of the Norway House Cree Nation. I hope I can count on your vote. Egose, vote Tyler Duncan on March 7, 2022. Egose.
Next, we have candidate for Councillor Kathleen Edoakapo. Next after her is Councillor candidate Alvin Ferland.
Thanks, Ellen Prince and the guys, running for council. I'd like to acknowledge my nominator, Richard McKay, seconder Raymond McKay. 5 minutes, I need 10 minutes. No, just kidding. Okay, I'm glad to be running for council. My main goals for now is make sure all our people are safe. I'd like to acknowledge all the frontline workers. They need a lot of support. I'm sure every household calls the policing, fire hall, ambulance. They need a lot of support and maybe new buildings, equipment that they need. And also students that go to school education. They need support in their rent. They concentrate on their studies instead of worrying about their rent and their stuff that they need for their studies. And also there's a lot of work needs to be done in town, and I'm not going to talk about that because everybody else is going to talk about it. A lot of concerns, housing, and I'm sorry, I had my suit, I left it back there, so I'm sort of going by, I can remember. And we do have a lot of concerns, housing, like I said, education. Everybody's going to talk about everything else. But my main goal is to help prospectors, mining, trappers. I've experienced all that, and like I'm a commercial fisherman, trapping, fishing, hunting, experience in guiding, heavy equipment, policing, security. I got a lot of certificates for that, and my main goal is to teach the youth, elders, on working on land-based coordinating. Because the youth now need help. We can't have them running around all over town getting in trouble. I prefer that they learn our heritage, culture, that we all brought up. Most of us were brought up in that. And the goal is keep them out of trouble and helping elders with families that like to go outside and experience their camping. A lot of people, I'm sure, here haven't grown up that way, but I did. I experienced all that. And I'm sure a lot of young people would like to do it. Even the elders like to go camping with their families. They can't afford that. Other people can. You got experienced people, you got to trap, fish, hunt. And like I said, they do need help. But I'm sure a lot of you people like to go camping. Experience. We have to keep our youth safe. Elders who like to go out. We have to support that. We should all year round, not just for the summer. Weekend, maybe a week camping with their family. And like I said, my main support for is the emergency services frontline workers. And like I said, that's all I can say right now. I'm not used to standing with it. I've got to get used to standing in front of the mic like everybody else. So I'm a little nervous. So, like I said, I hope I can be one of your counselors on March 7th. I'd like to have your vote. Like I said, I'm a little tongue-tied right now, so I haven't spoken so much, but I got a lot of concerns. And I'm handing out pamphlets by hand. I'm not going to put them in the mailbox. I like to meet the people that are trying to vote. I do have all kinds of certificates that I can use. Most of them expired, but I got a lot of experience in different jobs. Anywhere from heavy equipment, policing, security, commercial fishing, hunting, guide. And I'm sorry I'm running out of time. Thanks anyway.
Next candidate for councillor is Samantha Folster.
Answer. My name is Samantha Folster. My spirit name is Southwind Thunderbird Woman. I acknowledge my higher power today and my beautiful angel, my dad, Albert Tate, and thanks to my mother, Elizabeth Tate, for being the strong woman that she is. As a woman, I am a life giver. I am a daughter, a mother, grandmother, auntie, and a niece. The community of Norway House, Cree Nation, you are all my relation. We are connected by community, and what we all want is a safe place to live. We want freedom from the violence, we want freedom from addictions, and we want a new governance model so we can be professional, transparent, and accountable. We cannot have this until we speak self-governance and sovereignty. And this means that the people are part of the decision-making and leadership to be accountable. Our younger generations understand what that means because they are educated. We need to get out of the old politics because it's not working. There has been new models of governance for years, and we need to change it. Lateral violence exists at the chief and council table, and I've experienced it, and I've always remained strong. Portfolios need to be decided amongst one another, not just by the chief. So that I would like to see changed at that table. I want to continue the dialogue of the Constitution, the self-governance of Norway House Cree Nation, which was suggested by our elders of the past, our past leaders, as I cannot name them, but they knew that we needed to go in this direction. Women leaders are charismatic and very strong role models. We carry many things, our families, our children, and our home fire. This is why we have much passion and show empathy to our people. We listen. As a woman in this election, I want to support our leadership to work together, work in a teamwork environment. We are obviously not the same, but we need to we need to support each other. The ultimate goal is to continue to have Norway House Cree Nation thrive to be a strong community in wellness, healing, economically. Work with the staff as they are the pillar of our nation. Excellent service is a top priority as they are the frontline supporters of our people. What is transparency and accountability? These are not just campaign words. We are bound under the Financial Management Act. Financially strong, you need to have good financial management. Planning for the future, doing future projections, manage money fairly. Are we losing money? We need to do that together under good leadership. I want to invest in our own community members to build capacity in financial management. Our finance team are long-term employees of Norway House. They should be our financial management team. Why are we not supporting our own? We need to invest in our members so we can build capacity. CFOs who are not members do not have loyalty to the community and only to certain members of leadership, and that is wrong. And it is obvious. We have seen this for many years. Let's change that. We rely too much on the people outside of this community to take care of that. We know what our needs are. As a candidate, I do not know everything, but I know a lot. My biggest teachers in life were the community members I worked with in frontline in CFS, health, social, and I spent a lot of time with youth in the education system. They gave me insight to what the community needs. If anything, they were my most powerful teachers. I know for certain leading a community this big to be successful is not a solo endeavor, but a teamwork adventure. I want to inspire every single one of you to be successful, to be independent, to open those beautiful gifts that you have. In closing, know that I am a great leader. I am not in this for myself, but I am in this for all of you. We need some balance between men and women at this table. So as a woman, I kindly ask you all for your support on March 7th. Vote Samantha Folster. Thank you, and good luck to everyone.
Next, we have Councillor candidate Gilbert Pradette.
That's Gilbert Pradette, Nina. I'm honored and humbled to be home and speaking to the community this evening. I'd like to acknowledge my nominators, Dennis Painter and Alison Saunders. For the last 4 years, I've worked for Indigenous Service Canada as a special projects manager. I also have worked for First Nations Health, and currently I'm a policy analyst for Treaty 5. I'm currently working in partnership with the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service of Winnipeg. Walking as One is a first of its kind initiative with a First Nation and non-First Nation perspective. These are just some of the tools and experiences that I continue to implement within the last 4 years and want to bring these resources back home to Norway House. Because it's here in Norway House where I want to live and work. If elected, I'll speak and advocate for the people of Norway House on and off the reserve, with the Manitoba government and at the federal level. I have the knowledge, education, and experience to advocate on issues that pertain to the betterment of our people and the community needs of Norway House. I will get it done. Throughout my campaign, I've been speaking on 3 key issues. Number 1, community health and wellness. Number 2, chief and council and the division within. And number 3, unity and strength within our community. Number 1, community health and wellness. We are in a state of social crisis here in Norway House. Gang violence, drugs has made our community of Norway House unsafe and dangerous at times. What is being done to address the seriousness of these community concerns? These social issues are destroying our youth, families, and community, and have a negative impact on our Cree Nation. And we need to act today, not tomorrow, because losing one member to drugs or violence is one too many. Number two, Chief and Council and the division within. Chief and Council are elected by the community to serve the people of Norway House on and off the reserve. All we're hearing is financial finger pointing, infighting. Today, the division within leadership in our community is real, and it needs to be addressed. Because after all, our leadership must work and answer to the people of the Norway House Cree Nation in our community and in Winnipeg. Number three, unity and strength within our community. We have a Chief and Council, because of the comments I heard earlier, that have lost their way, and it affects the community and its members in a negative way. Chief and Council division is felt by our band staff, who see the negativity and division. This negativity affects the programming they try very hard to deliver to our Norway House Cree Nation members. It's our band members who are suffering because of the dysfunction of the leadership structure today, which has failed to deliver on the mandate of public safety, community wellness, and a healthy working structure within our leadership of Norway House Cree Nation. This has caused our community to go in a direction of uncertainty, and it's all of us who are paying that price. Lastly, the next 4 years and beyond is in your hands. What do you stand for? What do you want for our youth, our elders, and community? If you want a voice who's willing to stand for these concerns and fight for a safer, stronger Norway House Cree Nation on and off the reserve, I will stand with you and make sure we have community meetings twice a year. Once will be an update of where we're headed in program delivery and our financial state. Second, our meeting will be our audit meeting, Chief and Council progress, community meeting. Working in a united way with our people on safety of all the Norway House Cree Nation band members, we all have to come together and work for what really matters, the health and well-being of our youth. The drugs and the violence has to be addressed first before we can move forward as a Cree Nation, because it's causing a lot of dysfunction, and our community is better than that. Our elders have taught us over the years to be respectful. Thank you very much. Negasani on March 7th,
Check.
Gilbert Pradette for Council. Thank you very much.
Next candidate for councillor is John Henry Jr.
Good evening, elders, youth, staff, committee members, fellow candidates. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge my nominator, Michael Musswagon, and my seconder, Walter Musswagon. I've been married with my spouse, Georgina, for 28 years this July, and we have 6 children and 30 grandchildren. I went to school, University of Manitoba, worked for Frontier from 1991 to 2012. KSMA as a social worker, 2012 to 2018. And then 4 years ago, I was asked by Chief Anderson to work with him and councillors. One of the things that I noticed sitting there every day, people coming in, Some of the issues are housing, homelessness, mental health issues, CFS issues, all this. That I've been working with families, of course, counseling also. I have a lot of staff that come and see me after hours sometimes, and a lot of times our staff need to talk to some people, I guess, and I you know, I don't mind doing that because that's my job for our people in our community. And of course, elders, we need to look after our elders. We need a new building. I went there once this past, I think it was 2 months ago, and we do need a new place. Some of the things that I know in CFS, the Bill C-92, the children who were apprehended from 1991 till now, I think that the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal, they in a court case, they told the government, Canadian government, to pay those children that were apprehended on reserve. I think it was $40,000 each. So that's something that many of our people will be looking forward to, but at the same time, we need to help them when they do get their money. The other thing too is our history. How many of in here know someone that went through residential school or day school? How many? A lot of us, right? We've done about 3,500, I would say, day school forms in our office. A lot of issues that they went through 100 years ago. 1871 was the first one in Norway House. And a lot of elders have said that they were told not to speak their language when they went to school as a 6 or 7-year-old. And you want to know why our kids in the 1980s, 1990s that were born during those years that do not have that language? It's because of what was, you know, what the Canadian government tried to do. They tried to do away with our culture and our language, and they succeeded. I put a call out on Facebook if anybody was born in the 1980s, 1990s, and up close to 100 people called, and they said that they do not understand the language and they do not know how to speak. The ones that are lucky ones that are growing up with their families, their grandparents, and they kept that language. But over the past 4 years, I've been lucky to work with the Chief on Council. I enjoyed every day going there, and it was a challenge because I've never been in there. And you know, tonight when we go to bed, let's think about the people in Ukraine. Russians are trying to take over their country. Let's pray for them. On March 7th, 2022, vote for John Henry Jr. for Councillor. Thank you.
Next, we have Councillor candidate Mike Musswagon.
Good evening to Temak. Nas kumunutan iste paginigayan na pisista piamita ko. After 5 minutes po giminigawin na ano. But I will do my best to try and vistamata ugniste sitentaman. Pimpatani husa
Vinanas Kamau, Pitama, my nominator, John Henry, my brother, and his lovely wife, Georgina, for nominating me. It was during that day of nomination, I was on COVID. I had COVID, and I was in isolation. I couldn't go anywhere than not to sign my nomination, but he stood up. And thank you for that, brother. Pegagon, nista mistegagon, tayanista edent tamuin. Pegagon mga kawitamat no esigiskent taman, nigan winikisiga gipiap yanista. As a councillor, you have to sell what you're saying here to the members that are going to be elected come March the 7th. Haganista, mistake on tayanista, tago tamuin, tegerut taman. But before I start, I just want to acknowledge Nista, our people that are listening in, our elders, our youth, our community members that are listening here in Norway House and in Winnipeg and wherever they may be listening to. I welcome you to Norway House, and I welcome the opportunity to address you. I have many issues too that I would like to raise. One of the most important issues that I've come across in talking to a lot of people in this campaign is housing. Housing mistayan and mutsagato. And one of the things that I said in my speech that I did yesterday, I'm going to move and I am going to push to have housing that not just one councillor hold that portfolio. You've heard of people saying, that's not my portfolio. Well, that's crap. Everybody and anybody that's going to run, going forward today, I'm going to push and pursue that every council member elected, and even a chief, whoever that may be elected, to be responsible for that tool, not just to throw it to one person only, because that's a big housing. It's a big need, and we need to be serious about that. We need to get serious for our people. Our people. One of the things I want to advocate too, and what I'm saying, I'm going to put this on a council agenda, is I want all our regular council meetings to be aired, either to be live or taped and broadcasted live for people to see who is really talking for you, see who is responsible for you. If I'm one of the successful ones. And that's one of the things I want to see going forward. People talk about transparency. You'll be transparent there, my friends. I can guarantee you that. And I hope that everybody will support that. One of the things that I like to do as well too is education for young people, is to bring in more trades for people, better opportunities for our youth. And not just our youth, but even for our people. One of the things as well too, it was mentioned by candidate Fred Muskago for chief, and I truly support that, Nista. Anybody and everybody that works for the band, PDC employees, seasonal employees, people that are working for us, they should have proper coverage. We should be responsible for them. They're putting themselves on the line coming to work for us. Well, let's take care of those people too as well. And people that are cutting the grass in the summer, whoever it is, we need to make sure they're taken care of. What are they going to have? Okay? And the last thing, and I mentioned this in my speech, Northwest Company for the social assistant clients. I think it's about time we stop Northwest Company from taking from our social assistant people. They've taken enough from our people. And if I'm going to be elected, it's one of the things I want to send to the Chief and Council is that we approve Northwest Company and to stop whatever fees that they're charging our people. Okay? On March the 7th, as one council member candidate, I asked for your support. Nina, Mike Musswagon, the Snigazon. And my traditional name, I thank Sam for raising that. Kihotanid Snigazon. To all the candidates, chiefs, and councillors, God bless you guys. All the best. And at the end of the day, we all have to look at each other anyway, right? All the best, guys. Hey, good.
Councillor candidate Darlene Osborne.
Scott. Huh?
I forgot Susan was supposed to go after the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll let her go. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, I apologize. Susan Mino, Councillor candidate, is she here? Okay.
Danse. Susan Minaw te segason. Nistame itian henanas kumagi Donna Muskago ga Angela Carmody for nominating me, believing in me and seeing something in me to run as a councillor. Minanas kumak ni Papa, I'm not sure he's still here, but you know, for bringing me up to be who I am today, and my late mom Ida. So I'm here to say that, you know, I've worked in the community for 20 plus years. I've worked in social. I started off as a receptionist and I worked my way up as a manager throughout the 8 years. But while working there, I was also working as a paramedic with EMS. But I found myself that my calling was with EMS because I found that that's where I needed to help people. I know I had said I was going to talk in Cree, but I know we only have so much time. And I want to touch base on with the youth. And I know a lot of people don't understand Cree today. But I'm married to Leroy. I'm hoping everybody knows who we are. I've been married to him for over 31 years. We have 7 children. We had 7 children and 6 grandchildren. You know, I'm committed. I'm committed to my work when it yet to scan. Mitanim pagitinson mina so sa misak napem kapenisito skagok misigit sogok tawid si hagiginenwak. And that's what I've been doing. Working in the field where I work, you not only work to help people with their broken bones or but you come across people that need counseling. And we end up doing that, me and my partner. Sorry, excuse me. So there's a lot of mental help that's needed out there. We see it. We go into people's homes and we see the kinds of homes that people live in, overcrowded. People taking turns, who sleeps today, who sleeps here, who sleeps, you know. And walking out and seeing that, and you know that they need help. So which is why I believe that I think it's time that I get into council, and I'm hoping that I do get into council and that I get the support that you vote for me. And Anthony Apatagan inwak niwitsika po istawag ni situs kawawak. Kispinewap magigigas tasik tayo mistamasos sin tayo mistamawak. Niwitsi ninatawag itom tekaget si mawak matika kais panike ko nagisin tawin tagik. So needs to say that, you know, I stand up for people. I advocate for people. You know, we don't need women in council. We need people in there that are compassionate, caring, you know, that have the heart in it. I didn't write anything down. So I hope that you understand that if I do get in, this is how I work. This is how I work. I will listen to people. And even for the people that, you know, they don't say anything, but you see the need to abatin. You know, you know, we're all Norway House people. We're indigenous people. We're here to help. And The main thing that I want to bring up is, I know I said it at my last, is a community healing lodge. I've looked into it. I've asked around how we can get something like that, funding for it. And we found that the residential school, there's money there. I know there's money there that'll help bring money to the community, that we can create one and we can build one. So on March 7, I hope I have your vote. I hope I gain your trust and to believe in me, that to be there for you guys. Thank you.
Okay, candidate for Councillor Darlene Osborne.
Ani manoma egiskikati kines tansin no temak tatamiskati now say CP winwag mina on radio land Nina Darlene Osborne tisnigason Nina piaka abing pahtaan that's why new yan asota tadat ni susapaski Tatoskan. Nesto, ukimaganag ni sa toskemawak. Utaga ginapyo, apuak. Aga, at toske vinoma kaya yakuta. Muna animan. Kegon mawat si animak. Motske gona wiyake witak. Egutane mag-animak. Egotta moats kayes ka tispanik. Egotta ni nagyani mistayan. Moats ke gone vista magayan ta tispanik. Kisas pin ka kinaw ya ka wisat to skemig. Kimangan minawana swewin nuak. Mama wapiak tato gisigaw. Ta chimusta to agtan chuma ke tispanik. Ego ne manina giwan aiguan. Nigisewat sin. Mosak. Egisepa. Neuge gwang agetsikeman. Koyas mamit to nenchigan. Koyas pigis kevin. Mina koyas nandos taman. Tapatene mo inigise. Mina tagisewat siyan. Ego ne nanagagistan. Ego kawichiwan yatoskian. Kaya statutawat kitinim. Kawin at tamat senimat. Nanas ko monego. Kinogagis kenimiego tataskenanganak. Kaya squeeze at taskemit tinawa. Kikistenimit tinawa. I don't micromanage the portfolios that I have. Nancy, my name is Darlene Osborne. It's been an honor to serve you for many years. I humbly ask for your support again on March 7, 2022, as I seek re-election as one of the councillors of the community. First of all, I'm very thankful for my partner, my husband. He's always there for me. As you can see, he's not here, but he's out at home, always supporting me and praying for me. And I'm always thankful for that. And for my children, mina nusimak mina kakinani ininwagagi manasunichik. Kinanas komitinawa. Mina anas kikagetsimittinawa tavichiga paistaviek. Mistahigi ko ang tagiwabas tsigate kwas kaya ganigewin mawats. Nistang ipegit timagisin utana kipemistet to ganwak. Awa kiapit sa nus. Kiapit snute panawas kaya. Maga minoyawinik minaisi. Steady ninok pegagit sige muak. Tansi mo mag-iruta make minigewin. Matsimas kikiaga tawagan wage. Kinawaw. Kikipenagiskeno. Kikiwichiso no. Awas si me. Natuskaten. Ukimagan. Minawanaswewin noak. Tamamawapiak. Agat tagagit si miguak na ukimagan na kegon kinawi mutatayan. Mochi kasi gusingon si Pesa na gusnan. Mina, ukimagan taitet. Tawita magwak. Agawitseit na pewitsevik. Tebitigiak. Kami nagegon tagat tamagawiyagawasime. Tutemak. Wanas ginawa ni Nogo tagino sa CCP. Pag-usenimit na, kikagitsimit na, minagihitong tatapay genimiyek on March 7, 2020. Ikusani.
Next, we have candidate for Councillor Clarence Popanicus.
Danse, good afternoon. Wat say mit now, do temak. Clarence Popanicus in Disnigason. Firstly, I want to acknowledge God who gives us life and for giving me the ability to be here today to come and say a few words about my campaign. I must begin by thanking my nominator, Ken Oman Sr., who has always believed in my abilities to be a leader for our great nation. When I was first elected in 2010, he was there. And now here we are in 2022. Over a decade later, he's still there encouraging me. I am so thankful for his support. Also, I want to acknowledge another special woman who seconded my nomination to run in this election, Beatrice Kwasikapo, a godly woman. It brings me great confidence and strength to know I have support from such an upstanding member of our community. She is also a relative, and I have many relatives in our community. My roots are strong here, and this is the reason I choose to remain here and work here. Because I care for the future of our community and for future generations. I also want to thank my wife and children and family for all their support and allowing me to pursue this very important position once again. I do have another message through radio and YouTube that I'll be releasing in the next day or two. Due to the time constraint of 5 minutes that we have here, I'm providing a simple high-level overview of what is in my pamphlet. I go into more detail in my pamphlet. My wife, my mom have copies here, so if you'd like one here, you can grab one. I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself so everyone will have a better idea of my background and why I think I would be an ideal candidate for this council position. Over my working career here in Norway House, which spans a 22-year period, I came home after completing my first university degree from Brandon University. This was in 1999. I'm a big believer in education and training. As I was a high school dropout myself, after straightening out my life, or rather God straightening out my life, I should say, I returned to school to get my grade 12 diploma. Shortly after I pursued my university degree, I also took other certificate programs through college, and one was in the area of entrepreneurship. So to the youth who are considering going back to school, I say pursue it. Achieve your dreams. Know that I'm a big supporter of education. I have been working in the areas of governance, management, and leadership with the positions I've assumed for the last 2 decades. Beginning in the area of child and family services in 2001, I had the privilege of working with people from various levels of government, whether it was provincial, federal, or with our own First Nations entities. When I first started working with our local CFS agency in 2001, there was a big initiative happening. I had read about it when I was attending university just a few years prior to coming home. And it was called the Aboriginal Justice Inquiry. And here I was right in the middle of meetings that were taking place with chiefs committees at the MKO levels, meeting with ministers at the provincial and federal levels. I feel blessed that I could partake and learn and observe throughout the years from people in highly esteemed positions. I have learned so much from colleagues such as fellow executive directors, lawyers, some of them who are judges now in family court, educators, and many others. All these people I have worked with have offered me one form or another mentorship, valuable learning opportunities. I feel fortunate for the experience I've had over the years and the education offered through our First Nation organizations from this province, as well as other provinces. I've had, I've been offered positions, but I've chosen to work for our own community. But because of where you have time constraints, I said, please refer to my pamphlets and my message that will be coming out shortly. Please vote for me, Clarence Popanicus, on March 7th, 2022 for continued progress for Norway House Cree Nation. Thank you very much. God bless.
Next, we have Councillor candidate Jem Robinson-York.
How do you put this down? Oh, okay. Of course, the shortest one here. Thanks. Jem Robinson-York, na Tisnegatsun. Ninapem Andre Robinson, Tisnegatso. Agoni Nisto, Nitawazimisinan. Biak Mina, Ninusiminan, Isquesis. Bitaman Iwina Nasko Mantu, Kagitainam with Uta da Berotiananos this evening. Agomine da Bimbatan, I huga we Bimbatan wago March 7. Niwina Naskomun, Anos Kawiamian, Misots, Niwi Ihumina, Ihuewi, Niwi Aganasimun, Ihute. Misteto skatsa erontagik. Ai huisa wistawauta sendotagige yamehak. Kiampogo isaspin kiyamehenao, isaspin kitawente nao tanatit tagok kiguak, piyamehik 301-1816. Good evening to you all, my family, my friends, youth, and elders of Norway House Cree Nation. My name is Jem Robinson, and my maiden name is York. My parents are Yvonne and the late Billy York Jr. I am married to Andre Robinson. We have 3 beautiful children and 1 beautiful granddaughter who is our pride and joy. I'm disappointed tonight my husband can't be in here with me because he is not an Norway House Cree Nation member. He is my #1 supporter and he should be in here with me. I hope if I get into council, that is one thing I will be looking at. He should be here with me. I want to say, first of all, thank you to our Creator for allowing me to stand here before you this evening, 1 week before we head to the polls. I would also like to extend my sincerest condolences to the grieving families that are mourning today. May God comfort you and give you the strength in the days to come. I want to thank my nominators, Sandy Flett and Jennifer Popanicus, for believing in me and bringing my name forward to run in this election. Kinanasko mitnawa, my friends. I need to acknowledge who I am as an Aboriginal woman. My spirit name is the woman who walks with the moon. And to translate that in Cree is I come here this evening to ask you for your vote on March 7 to be one of your councillors for the Norway House Cree Nation. I believe Norway House Cree Nation is ready for change, and I also believe that I can help be that change, to help bring that change to our community. You have heard my speech on the radio over the last few weeks, and I meant what I said when I said I would stand by you no matter who you are. Where you live, here or in other towns or cities, what you believe in, what your lifestyle is, I will stand by you. Everyone deserves to be heard and validated. I truly believe that which is probably why I became a social worker. I think that being in the social work services field for the last 25 years has really given me the tools necessary to be a good, caring, and compassionate leader. Don't get me wrong, I am also very passionate and a strong-willed woman who will advocate tirelessly for those who need to be spoken for. I've advocated and spoken for many, many people over the years, especially when I felt something wasn't being done right or if somebody wasn't being treated fairly. I do not tolerate disrespect, lateral violence, or any type of violence. I will fight for you because that is what our people need. My family doesn't call me Sarge for nothing. I also said that I can't promise you anything unless I knew what was going on, and I will find out what's going on and bring it to our people. I'm sorry to say I couldn't do home visits, but I believe that, there's still COVID out there. I don't want to get anybody sick and bring anything into your homes. I didn't want to chance that. I don't want to take too much more of your time. You've had a long evening. I am asking you, please, on March 7th, to give me, Jem Robinson, your vote to be one of your next councillors. I will work for you. Be truthful, be accountable, be transparent. I will stand with you, and most of all, I will care and love you as I already do. Thank you so much for listening to me. God bless you all.
Next, we have candidate for Councillor Alison Saunders.
Tansi ka kinaginaw, kinanaskubit no ka kinaw tagi begar tiga o tago si guma ka via mega sa kawi na wasunaya ka na kawi ni Ganis Kagwak the next 4 years. Nenasko mga nista kasi man tuway is kaya ba siya kastaan na pinipoyano ta tapi amita ko ginogando ta make TV and radio. Nainimon pita mga pisis, sa gawin natin translate wilan tan tianos kat sa guste. Ito ginawa ikagagis kinimig ni Papa, aniya Charlie Balfour, haga ni Mama Winnie Balfour. Ninapem te Albert, aga sa 25 years tatis pano nisnan AV tuwak this June. So, ninas ko muna guste. Agapiak niya nga ginawa suni kaya ang tabing bahtayan. Muna do student ang tabing bahtayan. Adjust tayo yung. Muna niwis just tatay. Ni wino negata. Pati hipagets me kaya ni sa tabing bahtayan. Ako naginas ko muna tabing bahtayan ni sa tegata. Umay sa tabing bahtayan. Giskenten kaya sa gastayan ng matas Kevin. Giskenten tanimak. Giskenten tagastayan. Tawichi tago ginawa kinaw. Muna ni Matsene mga ninawya, kinayag na ginawa mo tagagawit sa nista miswitese. Ego sa kapingi pisigis kinamagunan nisnan ni mama ni papa kakina kita witsa haya kaya kata matsene maya gayak aga tayo mista maya ganin wak gasta cik tayo mista masot cik gabi jega sindute ni nanos aga wisto ni sima aga ni miss sega situta magwisto anos ni nas ko mane guste Mr. Tony stingi bet Mr. Skingi bet the scani stolta gani sa CP healthcare rates gatek Nistam iskewa gagaskawa sa tsingiwit sa hawak, steps and stages na magay tsagatik, agone health education. Mall man ang itiapin kaya sa ihaw agit to skanuta, ta wit sa hagi kasi ninwag healthcare like blood pressure daw, kimi sa ta blood pressure daw ningati kay tonwak. Agamina tagagay wit sa hagi ka nag-iskewa gagaskawa sa tsik I guess it's about just that much again, no, may God take us you know, to have a healthy baby, a healthy pregnancy, kay tonwag. Homemaker supervisor, minangitagis na niswet tigeski. Awagete at sak misted ni baby tsahanane ko daw siya. Tobacco control coordinator, minangitagis on piago, ako clinic manager. Ako nangagi po niya to skano ta health division, when ipingi tispitin, higiti school yanista. I have my snagatiragid naman First Nation Community Management Program 2 years ago tingiti school and ngigistana na may guspi aga property manager ngiti tagis na igote aga mister ngibe itahak nista ininwag igote may gotsa na mga renovate bigate 333 hegotang yanista ay gitawin tamani sa taminosik to be comfortable kay tonak for our people. Sige, mami, stetsibet sa hog, our people, ligoti sa sawanok, maski hino ta tiwap matsik ako, minosin ta minoyatsik isan tigayatsik, ta minonipatsik, you know, ego si saise. Bisit to ang behte na ihiyo, matsi maski he pa mo te banigo tagitis ko ningan no, ngiskenten di behten, agar nanta bulat utsaga tegan maja mister giwani hano, mani mister giwani hano, pat mister do deh tigayak, Animeno, agapatagay witsa haya ganigin no ego nemenuste. Anihimina niskavio, Mr. Ton behtoyak niskavio houses anihipyak iskohte buego testek, munagaya sa nama ego sa taste naga animawaskay kan. Tabi ginipi panot time when you're up here. Nagiginipin, I'll speak in English quickly. I've heard many youth talk about a library. We need a library here for our youth because a lot of students go to school at UCN. They need a place to go and study. They need a place to go where it's quiet and they can get that support or through computers or printers or whatever, you know, to get that help that they need. Kape minangipeta behten na yung teamwork kay tonwak tawitsa taskemit taga sa kinaginan. Tawitsi sik misera yekta school sik task what's heavy equipment operator, plumbing, ego si sa isa, miswete sa isa. Ago take care, ego mo it's mistahin behto egay te bastigi hone take care awasa kay sa ganin mistik. Ago tais pana mistet ECE ski school work, ago ne ego nagtagi witsi stick small business task ko tayo sik. Ego se Kaya get simit na ito, tawitsa po is tawik March 7, is panige, agad tanawa sunik nina, piagot taswino, umagay tipim bahtanwak. Ay ko siya.
Next we have candidate Langford Saunders.
Okay, Nancy, watch it now, you know. That Tamiskat now, you know, about to make on TV, kami ano to make radio. You know, last 4 years I've been your councillor, and I just finished 11 years altogether being a councillor. And you know, my job was when I came up here to talk to you last time, we only had 3 minutes, but my campaign was that to work on the hydro file, to make sure that we get to the bottom of what's going on here. And today, you see how much work that's being done, how much contamination in the water is at stake. So I felt it was very important that we continue getting the cleanup happening. And I've seen letters where a lawyer was given to shut it down, basically to say no. You know, the lawyer sent a letter to Manitoba Hydro, and Hydro wanted to back away, and but Chief and Council got together and said, okay, let's keep on cleaning up. If a lawyer gets a hold of it, it just stops everything, the whole process. And I've seen an email that came in that MKO wanted to pursue Hydro with all the northern communities and put a case together. And if that's the case, then it's going to be held up in court for 10 years because that's what the lawyer said. I have the email here that I have, you know, I didn't sue anybody yet, but I know that Chief and Council got that letter, that email that came in. So I put my pamphlet, I did put my pamphlet in the mail for you to see what I've been doing. Basically, it's just a report of what I have done as a councillor. I work very hard. I'm a hard worker. I've been working for 40-some years in my life. I've been married for 38 years. I have 4 children, and I have 9 grandchildren. So I thank my wife for always supporting me when I go home. I get to work at 8:30, and I don't get out of there till 5 o'clock because the people need to have leadership there when they have concerns, and that is me. When I do a job, I do it. I don't give you half of my time. I give you full time because that's what you want, a leader that listens. I work with councillors. Housing is a big problem in our community. I work with Councillor Dickson to try to help people when they come to our offices. My office is always open. I don't lock myself in the office. My office is open for people to walk in, councillors to walk in when they want to talk to me. I'm always open. I want transparency in our Cree Nation. We want to know information. We want to know, we want to be part of the discussions that are going on. These projects that you see that's coming or been talked about, we need the community. We need to talk to you. We need transparency in everything we do because I don't believe in putting our grandchildren, my grandchildren, your grandchildren in a 40-year debt. I don't believe that. I can't do that. So on March 7, 2022, I humbly ask you to consider me as your councillor. I give you my 4 years again, my life. I think I'll be 62 if I get elected. So it's, you know, I got 4 years left. I got a lot of energy. You know, good luck to every one of you guys that came up here, the women, the men, the young men. You know, it takes a lot of courage to be here and talk to the people. My daughter is listening in Brandon. She's looking at me right now. You know, so hi, Sabrina. You know, and thank you all. And food for Langford Saunders. Thank you.
Oh, your mask here.
So I was looking for it.
Next, we have candidate for Councillor Myra Saunders.
Good evening, everyone. I'm pretty sure, like me, you're all pretty much tired of sitting down in one spot, so I'll try and make this quick. I just want to say hello and good evening to all of you out there in Norway House. My name is Myra Saunders, and I'm running for councillor for our wonderful Norway House Cree Nation. Woohoo! I was born and raised in Norway House. I have 2 children, a daughter and a son, and they are the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I love them dearly. I believe in family and friends, and I am thankful for the support and love and support of mine. I have worked hard at every job I have ever stepped up to do, and should I be elected a Norway House Cree Nation councillor, my work ethics will not change. To reiterate a little bit about Norway House is part of one of the largest groups of First Nations in North America. In this land, there are over 350,000 people who are Cree and have Cree ancestry, and I'm proud to be one of them. When I was doing an internship at the Canadian Museum of Civilization, which is Canada's national museum, I saw a lack of information there about our history. I believe we need to share our history for today's and future generations. Each elder we lose a piece of our history, and in some cases, we have lost that history forever. I find this concerning, and I would like to spend some time enhancing the preservation of our history, to spend some time finding grants to enable projects such as this. We can secure our historical information and our collections for our people. If elected, I will take the knowledge I have acquired to work to help our community to the best of my ability. I believe in education and supporting our children, to encourage them to support their studies so they can secure any future they want. If elected, I will work to meet the needs of our community. Amongst other needs, we, like other communities, have needs that include housing, mental and physical needs, employability, and employment needs. And we have a need for providing assistance to those dealing with civil and criminal matters. I will continue to help the way I have in past years, without prejudice, without judgment. If elected, I will support programs and services to meet the needs of our people. I am capable of working alone, but I am also an avid team player. I will go the extra mile to make sure we meet our goals. If elected, I will assist and support an effective administration. I will assist in making critical decisions on a timely basis. I do not believe in putting off what can be done today. If elected, I will represent the best interest of our community in all dealings, to ensure that all of Norway House Cree Nation members are treated fairly and in a just manner. After all, Chief and Council are elected to help the people, to be a voice for the people, to step up and protect their people. I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. Being a member of your Chief and Council would be an honor, and it would give me a great opportunity to help, to bring services to light and make them a reality, to do things that can make life even just a little bit easier, to focus on the little things and the big goals, with a primary goal being to help someone. Egusane, Myra Saunders, Nina, I pray that God bless each and every one of you. I humbly ask and thank you for your vote and support in the election on March 7th, 2022. Take care, be safe, and good night.
Next, we have candidate for Councillor Andrew Simpson.
Tansen du Demak. Ken asku met noen skatte beskak. Huma kapisi mama opja kawite wana stai huma the next 4 years. Tanteo magawi rotia. Andrew Simpson this year, and I've been involved extensively with the Norway House Bruins as coach and manager. By the way, everything is set up for the next 4 tournaments, including the biggest tournament in Sasaka Moose. Asaga Hinayon, all the hotels are set, so don't worry about that, my boys. Ako, Nino umaw tagapian, kaustiska bista tago kabendo tamato, the Pembatas tamuyek. I've done things, Nista. I've always done things for Norway House. Be it Mr. Iberuten, I've always backed up what I thought was wrong. I've always done that. And I will continue to do that. Bring out what is illegal. Anusko abateno in this election that there was no mattresses handed out at that old Northern Ford store. That store was full election time. Yatawa foods. We put a stop to that. Peutana mistahi kipenogo tanuan. Yatawa foods. Eba pagid ng atege houses. Yasutamatin no houses. Adith niso houses yasutamat. Inawahigi papasin anwa to get her and the food of the family. I remember looking back, there was one lady that was promised a trailer and a house. And we put a stop to that. Nina, Hubert go tawista giapo. Naskena magwa, naskena magwek. Yamista magwek isto. Chigema a fair election da anwa. Anus nimeno pisinin of all the educated people here that are running. And, okay, say mina 2 minutes po kuntigain. Nigani hitabian, agautana, kapeutana hitabian, emwes nigan. Sigema, what has happened in the past is our education for the future. Eguma, I remember, like I can go back to 1992 when I heard a chief candidate say, Kissimasnagan egi minigawian. Inaguyan ang mastego magissimasnagan. Hasa mo tegota, Yusiminosin, Egusinemen Isipastina, his campaign speech. I remember that, 1992. Last year, Betogimahan, Ebimbatat, I huito. I was young and naive, umagagi rutaman, Northern Flood Agreement, kagi signuyan. I heard him say that. He made the mistake and he admitted to everybody. And it takes a big man to do that and to go forward with pride. And in releasing that, kisuhig apaw etibimbatat eguchis naga humauta kono sa ACP hinagumistahi ko na pasugunigatek. Everything uta kisavin mo na iguiwitsihik. Ako ni kiyame ko na tamustiapo tamustika lekto do sunyama. Kisavin mo na iguiwitsihik suhi sebeta taumagap muratain. Ego seputa girutaman mulaga gipe hawiak egagi on evinutistat. You cannot wait for a person to the baby's nisuha mask. If you can't do it by yourself, then don't even try it. And this is what Larson R. Anderson has done in the past 4 years. Inago mistahin ugo tat. Agoit nisuha mago doho. Our future chief, whether we like it or not, Tyler is going to be our future chief. Nobody else has stepped up. Nobody else. I know that can step up and do the job like Tyler can. The leadership in...
Sorry, sir. Your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Like I say, on March 7, 2022, for Andrew Simpson. Thank you.
Next candidate for councillor is Jewel Sullivan. She here? Following candidate for councillor is David Swanson.
Danke. David Swanson, this is Negason. And I just spoke to the young lady here. She said, since you're the last speaker, you got 30 minutes, she said. Dutemak, Nwagumaganak, Nitsanak, Nanasko Manutan Skani Poyan, Pe Nistebe Pagusenemuan, Pe Achimuan Istagigono, Awabastamanu Tadatuskachigatek, Bewabastamanu Tagegon, that Niganu Te that Chebeda Tanok, Aga Evitian Stamawach, Tape, Minostagusok, Utagagi Pia Emichik, Kaskinoyak. Sige mat, we start si tabagen taik, tabes taik, tate kage si beda datsik, tapos datsik umeno. Agama isa ayut. Tate na sunayak, wenet kagite ay tapos tamako yak umeno. Ayun nistam evitian kige. Evit na naskamak Grand Quest kikapo. Ego kagi na sunit, aga Madeline Walker. Kagi vistagid na skena mo adego tam. Agoma mistahigi behte nauta cooperation, working together. Ayud aitian nina deninimo yagisa mamawi atusketan. Egose pogo da isi meno panigegon. And I guess there's some operational issues that we have or we encounter within our First Nation or within our services, and one of the things that I found in the years of work that I've done and places that I've worked is that you need an operational plan, and when you have an operational plan, you have the capacity then from there to know where you're going, to show people what is it that you're doing. And what work is being done. You have accountability. You know, we have all these words that are floating around. You have all those with the operational plan. And you can tell when you're meeting success or whether you face challenges. And you can identify those. And you also have reporting purposes. Then it's easier when you have an operational plan. And it is important when you have the plan to consult with people. So that would be the community. And because we need to hear from you. Part of my campaign says that your voice matters. And I believe and strongly believe that in the work that I've done, that I've always listened to the employees, the parents, the students, and anybody else that came and spoke to me. I made sure I took the time to listen to them. And I don't find this any different. Sige ma, you guys negatigawin. Uniga nyo. Uniga nyo, saan ko iniganin. Poko, tawabas no yan egastay na ruta manego. And muna his tabi his panuta gas kinogyon nagiwis taman kabiat tuskat taman. Maaga ngayon ni mapiyagi ko ni sa ayud o tatuske awagoge. Tape ni beste na ute miskumistik that we need to have benefits. For our workers, all our workers, we need to make sure that we take care of them, because it's important they're the ones that are doing the work. And I hear some plans or some issues about public works. And, you know, if you have good planning, you have good management. And if once you have that, then you're able to move forward and you eliminate a lot of those issues. So with that, you know, there's more that I'll be posting on my Facebook page. Yan po kayo kami nagagipay si kastit na na, or kagipya may hinawaw. My phone number mi na tagisagaw is tamat na, it's 204-914-0532. Yan po piyamay kayo tayo si ganita nga stan in my Facebook page. Kinmito na kinanas ko mitina, utad ni stagatawin na mo yek tape yu ayamian. Aga on March 7th, kiskita tawin na, or now soon now, Dave Swanson. Aga ibityan, good luck to everybody that's running, and we have a lot of good speakers here, a lot of good issues. Let's all work together. Egusane. Good night, everybody.
I'll just double check if any of the candidates, when we went down the list, are here. Maybe they came in. Pam Balfour, Kathleen Edewacapo, Jewel Sullivan. No? Okay. So that concludes the candidates forum. It's 8:30, so we had some good speeches from all the candidates that were able. I'd just like to make an announcement for the poll, which is a week from today, and it will be here at the same place here, Multiplex Auditorium. So the polls are going to be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And after that, we'll obviously do the ballot count. Not sure of the attendance again. I'm sure it's going to be fully vaccinated, but I'll double check and announce on that later. But I'm sure we'll be live and streamed and whatnot as well. I have left, I guess that ends the evening. Is there an elder that can close the meeting present? Okay. I could ask the elder to close the meeting and see everyone in a week's time.
Tape sa kwaesk. Tape minupan niutan uskagishkak. Mistay tape niutnen kekwan. En tutataguk enigugani miek. Kinokaya miek. When I'm staying with school, I only went up to grade 6. Maga Nista, I have the Holy Spirit that helps me do my stuff, Nista. And that's what I felt tonight, Tota, of the speakers. It only strongly, there were 3 people. It came. So I have that choice, Nista, say, Hawina wasunak. Kistogan to Temek, you have your own choice. Kisto. Munaya kasiki mekawa, hawa. But you'll have your choice, Kista. And I'm glad that I came. Nista sa community, tuskawak Nista mistay po kuise. In any way I can. And I always pray for this community. Kaginawag Nista Mista Mok. Eko sama, will use the benediction at Isikisitag this evening. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.